What I did do today though was I started to watch the Giannis documentary. It is so good, you guys. Like Ben was telling me, yeah, I'm gonna bust you out, Ben.
What? Don't
Ben
do
was
that.
telling me
Don't,
that I
Mel,
have to, Ben. I
Mel,
have to bust you out. I'm
Mel.
so
Mel,
sorry.
come on, Mel. Look,
Ben,
what
Ben,
happened? Look,
Ben.
what happens in between me and you stays in between me and you. Okay, don't
What
tell these
happens
people my
between
business.
No, what happens between you and me, Ben, goes onto these airwaves. So Ben was
Whatever.
telling me earlier,
Don't believe
in
her, Truth
confidence,
Nation.
but
She's talking
don't
to
believe
Lie
me,
Nation
but
right
believe
now.
just know that this is what happened. Ben told me that he watched the trailer and he said he had to bring a bucket. He actually said that he had to go over and get a bucket for his tears because they were falling so much. He said for each eye, he just had to keep moving the bucket.
I ain't
No, but
gonna
real
lie.
talk, Ben.
Yeah,
It's one of those where it's just like so emotional where you're like, oh my gosh, like this is a really good documentary.
Truth Nation. Look, this is Truth 1017 The Truth, and I really have to tell my truth, okay? Yeah, you know what? Mel got me. All right, that is true. Look, I watched the Giannis trailer for the documentary of his life just last night. I was on my couch, I was laying down. I was like, you know what? This popped up on YouTube. Let me go ahead and check it out. I am not going to lie to you. I consider myself to be a movie buff. All right, I love
Sorry guys,
movies,
I have
whether
to
it's the
fix something.
the genre of horror or science
There we go.
fiction or whatever. I love a good film to watch. When I
My
watched the
bad.
trailer for Giannis Antetokounmpo, I
So good.
wanted to
So
drop
good.
a couple tears.
Every I
And,
mean,
and
it's
just only
so
2 minutes of
because
watching the trailer. Like, come on.
and Ben, it so I felt that I tweeted about that. I was
Yeah.
like I'm 5 minutes in and I'm so emotional already. Like it's just so good. Like it's really, really good. It and everything that they talk about in so it's Giannis, the Marvelous Journey, I believe is the full title. It's on Amazon Prime, on Prime Video.
Correct.
And
Correct.
it's just like one of those where like makes you want to go and be your absolute ultimate best self that you can be. Like it's just it really is a very inspiring documentary.
It's
And I'm
all
only 30
inspiring.
minutes in.
Well,
It's
so
very
you're 30 minutes into the
awe-inspiring.
doc
Yes.
doc already.
Yes.
Well, what
I
are
am
what are you
30 minutes in.
what are your few of your takeaways?
That okay, Yanni's parents are truly incredible. Um, they they came from Nigeria. They had to leave their oldest son
Mm,
behind when they moved because they're the village they come from. It especially at the time was very poor, very poverty ridden, and they came over to Greece to start a better life. And what was crazy about that, which I actually didn't know, they made their way like they just wanted to go somewhere different, Ben, and they
mm.
stopped in Greece because his mom was like, okay, we've been traveling long enough, and they were illegal for all of Yanni and the Nasties and like every all of the remaining four sons, their whole childhood his parents were illegal. And this I did know. Greece gave both Giannis and Thanasis Greek citizenship because they wanted them to play for their national team
Mm.
when they want, for their basketball. So that was why they even got like their Greek like citizenship, and then Nigeria was also fighting over it for Giannis to play for them. It was just a whole thing, like that kind of stuff I knew, but it's just so cool, like hearing their story about them going to the internet cafe and paying €1 an hour to go and watch, like literally just go watch the greats. He was like watching Kobe and watching Shaq. He talked about the Celtics Lakers '08 finals. Like he just talked about a lot of different things just in that 30-minute window. And I still have an hour to go, Ben. It's really good. I highly recommend it. And Ben and I got into a very spirited conversation this morning because of it.
Very true. Very true. I mean, how can you not, after again talking about the Giannis documentary and seeing how impactful it is? I mean, again, like I said, I really wanted to cry, and it was just within a minute to 2 minutes of the actual trailer that I saw. I mean, part of it was heart wrenching, especially just because throughout the trailer, and what made the trailer so good is that you actually get a snapshot of who Giannis is and who his family is within that 2 minutes. Like, again, one of the biggest, I guess, the climax of the trailer that I saw was Giannis
That's
actually
it.
losing his father to a heart attack. I
Yes,
mean,
that's
Truth Nation. If I'm gonna go ahead and reveal my truth, you know, you guys experienced it with me live on air while I was going it through myself. But when I lost my father to a heart attack, and I'm hearing Giannis lost his father to a heart attack, it was one of them things to me where I was like, my God, like, man, this it made me actually love Giannis just that much more. I was like, man, this dude is a real human. You know, that's the take away him being a part of the Bucks. Take away him being one of the greatest NBA players of this generation, of this decade. He's a real human being, from my understanding of what I'm actually getting from Giannis through this documentary, and honestly, even just all the interviews that he's went on to do. It's just like, man, like I wish there were more people who use their celebrity how Giannis uses his celebrity. I feel like Giannis uses his celebrity as a person knowing that whatever he speaks, somebody else is going to be out there and they're going to go ahead and follow. Like, I think that he really believes that he is some kind of a figure in a lot of people's lives, a lot of children's lives. Like, that's just so crazy to me to know that you're that impactful, but it's that much more crazy to me to believe, or not to believe, but for him to know that, you know what, people are lying on my words. Like, people are resting on whatever I'm going to say. And what the next thing that I say may actually impact them or influence them to either do right or do wrong. Like, one of the biggest things that I even took away from even just the trailer, even the trailer mail, was the fact that, like, when Giannis was talking and he was like, you know, the biggest, I got to put on the Giannis accent real quick. I'll try my better. All right. But no, he goes on to say, look, the biggest difference in between somebody being a hero or being a coward is how they deal with fear. All right. And it made me think about myself. It made me think about my whole life. I was like, my God, like, how have I dealt with fear my entire life? How have I dealt with trying to be the hero in somebody's life? How do I personally, Benjamin, deal with fear? Have I rose up to the occasion, or have I let fear consume me? And a lot of times, especially living in the city of Milwaukee, fear can consume you. I feel like a lot of people, when it comes down to the things that we have to face, whether it's the police encounters, whether it's the poverty that we deal with, whether it's just even stepping outside in your front yard and worrying about if you're going to be shot or not, all right, if you're going to actually come home and actually survive. How did you actually deal with that fear? And it led me to believe that a lot of people who actually do deal with these things, these traumatic incidences, are actually, in fact, their own heroes. They go along and they actually end up saving themselves a lot of the times. So it led me to believe, like, you know what? I need to go and actually watch this whole entire Giannis documentary, because ultimately I love an awe-inspiring figurehead who can ultimately, when I listen to them, I can pick up some kind of knowledge or some kind of game or some kind of gems that's going to benefit not just my life, but the next person's life that I ultimately come on these radio stations, talk about, and helps influence them and uplifts them. I mean, Mel, again, you're 30 minutes into watching this Giannis documentary. Do you got your tissue with you while watching this movie? Do you got your popcorn with you while watching this movie?
I do. I actually literally, I'm not kidding. There's like a box of Kleenex.
Yeah.
Because I'm like so serious. Once I realized how good and emotional I was gonna get from this Giannis documentary, I literally brought it by my bed, because like it. I'm so serious too, Ben.
Yeah.
Because, like you said, I mean, let's talk about the dad component for
Woo!
a second. So
Woo!
you lost your dad recently,
Yep.
and I don't, for where you are right now, because so Ben lost his dad only a few months ago. You guys, it's
May
still very
18th,
fresh.
2023. May 18th, 2023 is the day I lost my father.
May 18th of 2023, not even a full year, Ben.
Yeah.
And my prayers are always with you and your healing and your journey toward, like, your journey moving forward, because it really is like you close one chapter. You know what I mean? Like, there's a
Mm-hmm.
certain part of you that is with him and always will be, and he'll always
Yeah.
be with you.
Very
So,
true.
like, do you feel like watching these type of documentaries and knowing what's going to end up happening to Charles Antetokounmpo? Because like in the beginning, obviously he's
Mm-hmm.
still very much alive, and he and Veronica very early on in Yanni's career, like they were doing interviews and stuff like that. So they
Yeah.
showed him, and there are a few things where when I see him come on screen, it's very difficult for me, because I also lost my dad.
Mm-hmm.
My dad has been gone now for like 4 years, I want to say. And I didn't. I didn't have a really strong relationship with him.
Mm.
But it, it
Rest in
it
peace.
still feels like there's a piece of you that's gone. You know what I mean? And it's a
Right.
very eerie feeling to exist knowing that one of your parents is not here. It's
Mm-hmm.
eerie, it's scary. For you though, does it bring you any sense of comfort, for where you are right now in your healing journey? Like does it help you to see, other motivating father figures? Because for me, I look for father figures out in the world now, and I don't
Yeah.
do it intentionally, but I notice myself gravitating toward older men, and
Mm.
not like in a sexual or intimate way. I don't mean it like that. I mean like
Hey,
for
for real, because
mentorship.
here come all the old cats texting you. I'll
I
take
was
care of you.
gonna say,
I'll be a sugar
don't
daddy.
start. Yeah, don't
I'll
start
be a sugar
texting me
daddy,
telling me
baby girl.
I'm not a sugar daddy kind of girl, but no disrespect to the people who are, because
Mm-hmm.
get your money, boo. But I don't mean it like that. I mean, like, I genuinely, and it's a hindsight thing, Ben, where I'm looking at my relationships and I'm like, I am bonded with a lot, or like, by a lot I mean like two or three middle-aged men, and I think
Mm.
it's because I'm seeking a father figure, almost like, and almost unintentionally, because I don't have my dad. But
Yeah.
yeah, for you, like, when you see stuff like that, does it help you in any shape, way, or form? Like, how do
Oh,
you respond to it?
honestly, it just, for me personally, it just lets me know how important fathers are. Like, I have a newfound respect for the passing of people. I have a newfound respect for just fathers in general. It's so crazy because I was watching the Blue Beetle movie, and Blue Beetle ends up losing his father, and but due to a heart attack in the movie. And as I watched the movie, I'm like, oh my God. I actually got to crying in the theaters. I'm not going to lie to you. I got to crying in the theaters when I saw him lose his father. But ultimately, for me, I'm still on my healing journey. I'm still trying to put the pieces together for myself. Because again, the person that I was prior to my father's passing isn't here no more. Like, I am forever changed. I'm forever changed. I'm forever changed. My family is forever ever changed. My brothers and sisters, like, and nobody can really truly prepare you for when you actually end up losing your father or your mother. When you actually lose a parent, something inside you dies as well. And like I said before, it's just me just trying to understand who I am, me reconfigure who I am and what I really want in this life, in this lifetime, in this life that I'm granted with. And it made me think to myself, like, you know what, man, what do you want to dedicate the rest of your life to? Like, what do you want this all to be for? Because ultimately one day I'm going to be there as well. Ultimately one day, Benjamin Hooks, born on June 6, 1992, one day we'll have a death day. I will have a toe tag one day. And ultimately, what do I want my legacy to be? And I think that's something that all of us actually, especially when you're a millennial, I think, and Gen Z, or the Gen Alpha generation, I think that's something that we're all actually striving for right now. Because we know for a fact our past, we're all trying to break generational curses. And right now is the time and the moment for us to break those generational curses and be like, you know what do I want my life to be? What is going to be my legacy when it's all said and done? Do I want the big bronze statue like Kobe Bryant, or do I want to be the president of the United States, or do I just want to just live a simple life and have a nice family with the dog out front? What do I truly want with my life? And Mel, that's I said that all to say that's what my father's passing has ultimately pushed me to start thinking about when it comes down to just life. And it's constantly, each and every day for me, it's constantly a reminder that one day I'm going to go too. One day I will too perish. So I'm just trying to figure out, my greatness and what I'm going to be at, or who I'm going to be 10 years, 20 years, 30 years till the day Ben dies. You know what I'm saying? That's where I'm at,
No,
really, really, when it comes down to my father's passing and how it
I
affected me.
get that. I definitely get that, Ben. And I think, going into what we wanted to talk about today, it's all about what motivates you. And,
Mm-hmm.
what's interesting. And also, I mean, let's just say it's crappy to think about, but like, their heartache, it can be such a big motivating factor. And
Mm-hmm.
it's sad because it's like, you don't want something bad to happen in order for you to feel that ambition, but sometimes that is what it takes, to
Right.
help motivate your entire being, but also just take your way of thinking and your perception on life to the next
Mm-hmm.
level.
Right.
And I think that everybody, even if you were born into wealth, because I used to like read all the nepotism articles, like, like, yep, that's how they got there. But it's like, you have to still work hard,
Mm-hmm.
because people who are products of nepotism in any industry, I'm not saying even just family, or excuse me, famous people, but like in any industry, I feel like sometimes you have it harder, because you had that entryway, but now it's like, okay, but I gotta stay, I gotta prove myself, I got,
Hmm.
whatever it may be. And
Right.
maybe that's their motivation. For you, maybe like you said, your mindset changed when your dad passed away. Maybe you have a different type of motivation, like something else different that motivates you, I'm saying.
It's like a
So
transformation,
that's
you know?
it's a total transformation. And isn't it interesting, the life events that can transform our mindset and just transform who we are as people? It's really incredible. So, yeah, today's topic, what motivates you? That's what we want to ask you guys. 833-212-1017. Talk to text line is open. The phone lines are open. But we want to know what motivates you? What gets you going? What helps you think bigger and better and grander? Or do you have issues with being motivated? And if so, why is that? Today's show, we want to talk all about motivation, very inspired by the Giannis Antetokounmpo Amazon documentary, that the marvelous Giannis. I forget. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. Giannis, the marvelous journey. Sorry about that. That's what it's called. Go watch it on Prime Video. No, this is not an ad. I just really was inspired by it. Ben was inspired by the trailer.